All right, so welcome to August TriEmbed meeting. No newcomers. Let's go to announcements. Do you know anything that's going on? Last month, somebody talked about a ham fest in August at Ridge Road something, and I was able to find it online, and it looked quite informal to me, and not something that I was going to go look at, but maybe that was Scott.
Yeah, I think Scott mentioned it.
In the past, there was one in Cary around this time of year, but I haven't kept up.
The website I found, it looked like some ham people met like every fourth Saturday or Thursday or whatever, and so there were a number of.
Ridge Road Baptist Church, 2011 Ridge Road.
They host.
What city?
Well, Ridge Road is in Raleigh.
Raleigh.
It's a Baptist church. And it's, the
On
next one
Ridge
is
Road.
Saturday, August 15th. Starts at 9 a.m.
Yep.
So that's this Saturday. So if you've got some AB 105, I guarantee you would find someone interested in that.
Yeah, I don't know anything else. School's starting up. We're going to be teaching machining at Durham Tech again.
Is that a beginner class? What's the, which class is it that you're teaching?
It is machining for industrial something students. So it's like people that want to be maintenance workers at manufacturing facilities, and they take a HVAC course, a plumbing course, an electrician course, machining course.
Basic machines, tools, lathe, CNC, or mill.
It's a curriculum course, and it's already oversubscribed.
Never mind.
But if we do continuing education again, I will let you guys know.
Okay.
All right, problem of the month. I don't know about your house, but a couple weeks back, we had quite a storm with downbursts and trees down, and power was out for 16 hours, 17 hours.
Really?
Some people were out for a couple of days. We were out of town, but we knew that our power was out. So our refrigerator and freezer never got opened. But I don't know how warm they got.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem of the month.
How long was the outage at your house? Can you-
15 hours.
No worries.
I mean, the ice cream hadn't melted.
No worries.
So there,
I knew I was sick.
You know the old trick.
yeah, I was just gonna say, what's your tech
Quarter
level
on
requests?
piece
Yeah,
of
a penny and a cup of
and a
water.
cup of water. Yeah, well, I would have liked to know how warm it got in my freezer. But when the power's out, right? The power's out. The Wi-Fi works for 20 minutes on the UPS.
Till the batteries die.
The UPS shuts down.
All right.
So there's not much power.
That means recording locally with the battery, taking
Okay.
the temperature and putting it on an SD card somewhere.
Okay, an SD card in the freezer, you think, is that
Well, no.
any problem?
Well, you can run a couple of wires out and if it
They usually
goes
last.
through the,
So you're gonna have wires running?
I think you could get enough RF. The rubber seal is
Yeah,
probably,
I've been amazed. So I
I think you could get some RF.
I have a device for my daughter that measures in the refrigerator. And when it gets too warm, it connects to Wi-Fi and sends a notification to her phone.
Can the electronics stand to be in your
Well,
freezer?
but why do they, can't you just put a probe down?
Well, you can, right, you're compromising the seal, but that's probably on. Well, you could use a flat cable.
I put USB battery packs in the freezer frequently for hours and hours. So they continue to function.
LiPo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You wouldn't want to charge it when you take it out,
Right.
but they run. I use it for making ice cream really fast by using a USB fan, USB battery pack to make a glass freezer. Little metal pan full of ice cream. Real quick. You can freeze it in about 45 or 60 minutes.
So I use Shelly flood sensors in my house. One's
Okay.
under the washing machine and one is in the crawl space in a pan under the water heater.
Okay.
Which needs its battery replaced.
Was the one with the Armageddon sound level?
I've never been home when it goes off. I'd have to ask Rowan because I'm on my way home from work one day and I get an email alert. And the reason I bring it to mind is because it also does, since it stores or reports temperature and humidity. I got an email on my way home from work one day. Hey, the Shelly laundry sensor detects water. And I called up home and I said, Rowan, what the hell? And then I heard brick, brick, brick in the background. Apparently the laundry detergent had fallen off one of the shelves over the top of the washing machine and there was detergent that was spilled. So it was both better and worse than water. So it was at least confined to the amount of detergent that had spilled out of the detergent bucket. But I don't know. I know it reports it. I don't know if it stores it locally, the temperature. And I don't know if it graphs it. I was just doing a quick search to see, and that's an older version of the Shelly flood sensor. But I've talked about Shelly devices here in the past.
The sensor would have to go pretty low too, wouldn't it?
Well, oh yeah, this, and I am looking at that right now. The Shelly sensors work to ambient working minus 20 C, so -5 Fahrenheit. Pure freezer is below -5 Fahrenheit, I think, over time.
You could also use one of the DS, the DeWalt one wires,
Yeah,
or even
18B20.
LM34 and turn
Yeah,
the metal on and off, drive it with actual digital output. So
Yeah.
it's actually zero power until you want to read it.
I think -5 would be good enough because, I mean, even if you said, okay, I need -9, 12 or whatever, that's not the worrisome area, right?
Right.
If it says it's above -5, then that's starting to become information.
Above zero.
Right, or, well,
Yeah.
above 32.
And that's the ambient working temperature is down to -5 Fahrenheit. So
So are you going to collect data all the time, or are you going to try to detect the power's out?
You're the guy with the requirements.
yeah, so if you're running Home Assistant, which I assume you are, or some kind of a home automation system, you could have it collects data constantly, and if you detect a trend upwards, you could start notification early, and you could set a threshold that says all hell breaks loose, and you alert the Claxons or send an email.
You could use the presence of AC to hold the device in the off position. So when you lose AC, it turns on. and starts doing its thing.
You could use a photocell to detect the refrigerator light bulb was on. It turned off, you'd know.
The door is closed.
When it turns off.
One way to find out.
Other thoughts?
I investigated doing temperature monitoring for pharmaceutical fridges for power outages and how to escalate notifications when temperatures are creeping towards the medicine has to be tossed out to give them time to bring in frozen packs and stay within their usable temperature limits. So I've already thought about a lot.
That's why my daughter has her monitor stuff.
Well, I was thinking, she must be, valuable commodity.
Veterinary.
Veterinary vaccines. Stuff in the refrigerator.
Yeah, so I don't know, again, I don't know if it stores it in the device or if it reports it to the mothership and then the mothership does it, but I can tell that for the last 20 hours, my average temperature's been 22 degrees Celsius, so.
Are you running on a battery or are you running on?
Yes,
Low power?
I am running on a battery. It's a CR123 battery, lithium, and this is the second battery that I have put, or this is the first replacement that I have put in, and they're 3 years old. So they go into deep sleep, and then every end period of time they wake up
Do
and
you know what N is?
I believe that you can change it. And again, you probably can't get that particular device anymore. But there's plenty of these types of devices in the Shelly environment.
Yeah, I offer some chips that do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and given your previous coding history, also put a ESP32 and a Dallas 18B20, deploy that and run it on 3 or 4 1S2 4P.
Or 3 AA.
No, we don't want to go double A's. Double A's are lame and stupid. So with an
4 nickel.
18650.
Wow. A lot of energy over battery.
Yes, well, I've replaced too much electrical equipment due to alkali batteries.
Alkaline batteries. are horrible.
Alkali. Yeah, I like that, alkali.
Yes. Thank you. I will just use 18650. I'm completely capable of charging them and discharging them in a safe manner. And
So my
Nickel metal hydride or lithium ion. is the way to go.
button box, which I've brought in previous meetings, reports its battery condition to Wi-Fi twice a day. And it runs for about 50 days.
just reporting. Is that with any usage or just sitting on a shelf, never gets used? If the grandkids get to using it, they could put a dent in that, right?
That's right.
So that CR123 is 1.5 amp hours, so it would be like a pair of double A's and a half in terms of capacity.
I'm not suggesting a CR123 is the right answer.
A lot of
Personally,
capacity.
I'm surprised you're getting the lifespan you are from that small valve.
well, this particular device is designed for only reporting irregularly, and then it's got contacts on the bottom. I think this is the better team to tell me what happens on the device, but there are I think 3 gold contacts on the bottom of the device, and if they conduct electricity betwixt them due to water, then it wakes up and starts screaming for mama to come solve this problem.
Yeah,
And I can tell you the current between those terminals can be really small, like a microampere or less.
What
So-
type of batteries are they?
So
Replaced
CR123.
it 8 months ago. I have no recollection whatsoever. I just remember it's
A
CR123.
CR123 is a 3-volt
Lithium ion?
Almost certainly.
Oh, just lithium,
Just lithium.
because I know lithium ion have problems at colder temperatures, but I don't know about just lithium.
This the Sierra 123s, there's like Expedition headlight, Expedition flashlights, North Face kind of stuff. Very old tech. They were around 25 years ago.
Well, I mean, those little button batteries are often lithium.
That's what he's talking about.
No,
Yeah.
this looks like a stubby C cell.
It's a cylinder, it's a fat.
It's a slightly shrunken down C cell.
Yeah.
What's the number?
CR123, about half the size of an 18650.
Get really popular in 10-year, 15-year, 20-year memory retention.
Defibrillators have like 8 or 9 or 10 of those
Okay.
in them. So it's
That's the shelf life.
quite a deal to replace them all. But
And
they sit and do nothing well.
some smoke detectors use them as well.
Yeah.
This is claiming 18 months on battery. This particular device is discontinued. There are new versions, but the device that I have personal experience with.
And it's reporting temperature.
Yeah.
Because you have a log.
Mhm.
It's not like
Last
it only reports temperature when the water is there.
No, it wakes up and I don't recall what the temperature or the cycle is. The biggest problem is that push a firmware update to it, you have to go through kind of some machinations because you can't wake it up remotely. It only wakes up and checks in. And
When it's
so,
supposed to.
right, when it's
Yeah.
supposed to. But yeah, I've got right here a graph on my phone for the laundry room that says there's the temperatures that have been happening. So that's 20, it says temperature over the last 24 hours. So it's clearly doing that. And I think that if I wanted to, I could pay for the extreme version or put this on in a report and have it show longer periods of data.
So it's like giving you a warning, the temperature's dropping in your pipes might freeze.
It could probably do that.
I was thinking, why do you need temperature in a water sensor? But if it's to detect pipes.
Yeah.
You do it through Home Assistant?
That would be really cool. If I knew some people who could help me to get Home Assistant running at my house, that would be an awesome idea.
What do you run it through? Just run it?
That Shelly has an app.
Okay.
And so my Home Assistant is the Shelly app. And
Okay.
yes, it's terrible and horrible and bad engineer, no donut. I've exposed my entire infrastructure and network to the Shelly,
Yeah.
so forth. It is a European company, I think, but most of the stuff comes from,
Bulgaria.
okay. And you know more than I do,
Do
but
you like that?
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria,
And when I buy my Shellys, the first thing I do is reprogram it with Tasmota and
Okay.
run MQTT locally
Okay.
so that I don't.
there you go. You can have MQTT do the thing and there you go. And I would like to, if we have time, talk about either Mesh Core or Meshtastic and why which one you should use. And I think that MQQT or MQTT or whatever it is will take information from Meshtastic and allow you to retransmit it to local nodes and send messages and so forth.
I can believe that.
So
it really sounds fantastic.
All right, any other comments?
Well, so what do you want to do with, like, do you want it to just sit there and when you come home, you will look at it? Or do you want it to be sending you data? Do you want it to tell you if anything else happened bad other than power outage? And I ask this because I'm dealing with a freezer that is on and off, on the fritz and not on the fritz, off and on. And so like, that doesn't have anything to do with power outage. But anyway, just what do you want it to, what are
so-
your parameters?
I would have liked to have been able, when I came home, right, when the power had come back up, although most of the UPSs were still powered off, I would like to be able to review
What the temperature
what
is.
the temperature looked like in the freezer for that 24-hour period.
So is the food safe or does it all need to be tossed?
And the freezer is probably less of a concern than the refrigerator. Because the refrigerator can go up to 70 and then back down to 40 and you don't really know. If the freezer goes up to 40 and then back down to 0, you can tell.
Simulate it by leaving the door almost closed overnight. My kids have done that a few times.
The device I built for my daughter is called Check the Door. Because the door doesn't close by itself. You have to give it that last little impetus. And so, but having a graph that says, here's the cycle of temperature in your freezer, you can assume that this is when the compressor came on and, how often it's running. That would be bonus information that if I had access to, that would be good.
Well, then when the price callers ask if your refrigerator is running, you can give them a definite answer.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that because I have been looking into this Meshtastic and Mesh Core thing, there's a device that is available for $100, which will run the mesh. I'm trying to remember which one this is. Actually, it will run either Meshtastic or Mesh Core. It's got a solar panel built into it. It takes 4 18650s. You put it on your roof with the solar cell pointing up, and it basically runs indefinitely. I think they said it had
Units lower.
it is LoRa, yes.
That sounds so cool.
That's kind of
We should all get one.
I don't know why I need one, but I
Quantity discount.
shut up, because that's why. There may soon be one on the roof of the forge. Might also be one on the roof of my house, and around in the back.
what's the quantity price?
It's available from Seeedstudio, so it's of some level of.
What frequency? Is it 400 or 900?
Where would you like to order it from?
I'm sorry.
If you order it in UK, you can get one at 413. If you order it in the United States, I think they send you the 933 or 920.
Oh, you should definitely
Yeah,
go for the
sometimes
lowest
it's-
frequency that you
Well,
can buy.
The one that's apparently legal to use in the United States, I'm just reading off of the thing. You know far more about RF than I do, but I'm telling you that I think that if you order it for delivery in the United States, you get the 913 or 925 or whatever it is. If you order it for delivery in the UK, you get the other one. But
There's a lot of 433 megahertz devices out there.
I was going to say, I thought there was an ISM
Yeah,
chunk in around
Yeah.
430,
there is.
and it overlaps with the ham band.
It may be the distance to the Lord, but that's still really low power.
So you can get this thing for SDRs. It's I forget the name of it, but it's something 433, and it just tells you what's on the air in
So many
433.
key fob remotes are.
And door closers and all kinds of other crap that's out there. So I think it's gonna be legal in the States, 433.
Yeah.
this particular device is called the SenseCAP Solar Node P1 Pro.
Catchy.
That's the NSE-CAP Solar Node P1 Pro. And I'm looking at a review. Somebody who's been working with the Meshtastic and Mesh Core. They recommend this thing.
Yeah, with the problem with the 400 might be that the amateur radio service is primary. So
Curiously, one of the two systems, I believe it's Mesh Core, allows you to say, I'm a ham radio operator and licensed. And by ticking the thing and then rebooting the system, number one, it gives you more transmit power, I think. And it also eliminates your ability to encrypt messages.
Right. Yeah, that's the Hobson's choice.
Right. To meet
Believe it or not, guys, I'm not kidding you. With a technician license, which you can get, any one of us could get one with about 4 hours of concentrated work.
I've got one. You
Okay.
guys definitely.
Well, you can you can run it through a 1500-watt linear amplifier. You can put it through like a 20-element Yagi. So
Right.
like somebody on the far side of the county, well, it's line of sight pretty much, but you can't use encryption.
Exactly.
Why not? Is that just illegal or something?
Part of the FCC regulations, you're not allowed to use public
Yeah,
airwaves.
amateur
for
radio, you
advertising.
cannot,
You can't use encryption and can't use it for commercial,
Right.
operations.
plus you have to, it has to be clear who's doing the operating. But the reason that they're marketing the 900 in this country might be that with the 400, the amateur radio service is primary. So if that ISM would be unlucky enough to be like local repeater frequencies, I can't imagine that it would be
Get
nonsensical.
that, turn it off of those.
Well, you could climb up and cut their coax or something, but it's the only thing reason I can think of why they wouldn't sell you the 400s to the US.
I
And
think it's mostly stay in the good graces of the FCC.
And the deal is that the higher you go, the more the radio waves are behaving like flashlight. The more the radio wave, the propagation is getting closer and closer and closer to behaving like light. And so if you cannot see the destination, you can't get there. If the frequency is too high, power is too low, antenna gains are too low. Whereas, yeah, like if I was going to do war, I would figure out if I could do it on the 6 meter band.
well, and yeah, it's
6 meter band, which is everybody here is old enough to remember the low range television channels. Channel 2 is adjacent to
CBS in New York.
Channel 2 is adjacent to the amateur radio 6 meter band. I can't remember if it's above or below it. And in 1996, I did an event with a bunch of guys, and we did an amateur radio field day on the USS North Carolina. We had an 8-element 6 meter Yagi on the next to the radar antenna of the ship, and it was about 125 feet above the water. And we were making contacts with Los Angeles at 54 megahertz, and a lot of contacts with Phoenix. So
one other reason to perhaps, and again, just barely scratching the surface with this Meshtastic system, but if the local meshes are more on the 913 or 933, you can then become a part of that mesh
exactly.
and be more likely to receive your message real time. And I think that Mesh Core has one they call a meeting room feature, where it can post messages, and if the destination is offline, when it comes back into receive range, it will get all of the messages that were sent, or that were logged up to the cache size. So if you were logging data, you could have it sending messages and alerts and giving you at least daily reports of here's your temperature ranges over a period of time, depending upon how you set up your reporting system. But if you had it set up and you became part of a local mesh, you might be able to actually still receive your messages real time, even if the local internet was down, assuming enough other people on the mesh have solar powered repeaters.
Fortunately, it is really dependent on how close you can get to the next station.
Yes.
So like we're 3.5 miles from downtown Apex, and there's just nothing. you know.
Right.
And,
Yeah, I
and,
mean-
and so that first 3.5 miles is
Right, fair
tough,
enough, right.
very tough, but, in a denser area, like, you live in a much denser area and, you might talk some neighbors into, you know, I mean, you might even say like, here, would you put this box in your attic, please? know.
So I,
It won't bother you.
I do have a tendency to be the guy that the locals call when
Yeah.
something needs help.
Right. You can make a deal. I'll fix your HVAC.
I'll be up on the roof, just,
Right.
it's no big deal, just regular, checking on things.
Yeah,
I left something there. It would
well, I've attached it to the vent
Your vent,
pipe.
your vent pipe now has a
And-
solar monitoring system on it.
Exactly.
Next time you have a problem, I'll know first.
Exactly. It's- Yeah, in fact, vent pipes would probably be a really convenient place to put it. And again, you hear stories about making antennas out of Pringles cans and stuff. Forget that.
No, I'm just gonna buy a freaking
Okay.
off the shelf.
Or I have 3 or 4 really good 900 megahertz antennas. Yeah, I'll just give you one. It's, I can't remember, it's 5 or 7 elements. And you you start off with, well, of course, the problem is the beam width,
Right. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, you gotta like.
You have a choice. You can either have directional or all around.
Uh-huh. So we just got fiber
Oh, congratulations.
about 2 or 3 months ago. Yeah, yeah. So we were in that house for 25 years. The first 3 or 4 years, I was running the whole house with a dial-up modem and a DNS caching DNS server. Okay. At one point, I had a commercial satellite thing. And I was my next door neighbor's ISP. And I had a 25 dBi dish. And in his house, had an 8 dBi antenna. So the effective radiated power to his house was like 20 watts or something. It was crazy, but it arranged so that the RF link was never the problem. The problem was always flaky.
Did you have-
Well, I was using, what was it called? It was called a bridge. I was using a Wi-Fi bridge, and I literally ended up, I used 4 different ones before I found one that would actually work. It would, actually, no, really, no, like
Continuously.
continuously for a week,
what was it? This
it was about 70 yards through woods. But it
works in your
was so
spring
powerful.
even?
Oh, no, it just blasted, it worked. But the point I'm just trying to make is, if you have the choice, arrange for as much signal quality and strength,
Right.
If the 2 stations are 10 feet apart,
Nobody cares, right?
it doesn't matter what you're using. But if you're trying to get to your neighbor's house, you definitely want to think about that.
Interesting.
And with your technician license,
I've got a general. I accidentally passed. When I took my technician exam, they said, you passed. Here's your general. And I said, oh, I didn't study for it. They said, here's your general.
right.
And I said, okay. And it just so happened that the number of and I had been sort of studying for it, but the number of questions that were on that particular set that they had given me heavily emphasized the electronics portion and de-emphasized which band are you allowed to
Right.
transmit it in? I know Ohm's law.
Well, that's great, man. Yeah,
so-
that's great.
Same thing happened to me, and then they were perplexed because I just barely passed the technical. I did great on that job.
So when I took mine, it required Morse code. And I will never forget the expression on the guy's face when he graded my worst. It's like, I got some 12-letter word with, with 2 letters.
Was there a breathalyzer involved?
It was just pattern recognition,
Like Hangman, right?
Yeah, it was.
I had a class 2 radio telephone until the government decided they weren't going to do it anymore. And then I wound up with one through the Radio Engineering Society. They wound up having their own test because the government shut theirs down. So I got one of theirs, but that's expired now too. So
Yeah. Well, that's more privileges than amateur. So,
There is a bulk quote. There's a bulk quote request. So if we decided to go in on the Meshtastic,
I think it would be a fun project to maybe see if we could get a Meshtastic going in the room.
yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Maybe.
I know the landlords personally from before we came here. So I'm absolutely positive that I can get permission to get on the roof and put one up here.
And how much are these, the 900 megahertz gizmos?
These were $35 a piece from Amazon, which my understanding is that, and it pairs with a app on your phone. And so you can use your phone to enter text messages. It transmits to your local Healy Bop that you carry. This one doesn't come with a case, but they do have them that have cases, and you can get various different versions of them. And then it looks around and tries to find other devices on the mesh or on the Meshtastic or the Mesh Core.
The roof thing.
Yes.
Solar, how much was that?
The solar one is currently $101 in singles. So there's a button here marked request custom bulk quote.
And it has an
Not really too bad, huh?
external antenna connector?
It does have an external connector, antenna connector. Yes, it comes complete with a mounting kit, which is apparently very good. It comes complete in that particular version, comes with both the GPS and a set of batteries. There's a cheaper one that's available. I believe it's like $70. That does not, actually it doesn't. Yes, the cheaper one does not include batteries and it does not include the GPS. And this is supposed to be a stationary device. And the couple of tutorials that I read through here were very specific about the GPS for your stationary device is more important than you think because it's involved with doing some time setting. So
Yeah, well, I
so
mean-
everybody can, it doesn't care that you're not changing location,
Your time slice.
but you're time slicing,
Right.
you're dealing
Yeah.
with that. And
Yeah.
so it can keep track of a lot more things a lot better because it has.
Yeah. Need a really decent time.
Put that on top of an FRC trailer.
See, why not? Yeah, and then you can give one of these or similar devices to each one of your students and they can all communicate text messaging. There's another one, there's another version out there that it looks for all the world like an old BlackBerry. It's got a QWERTY keyboard on it. And you can either buy it with a small lithium pack cell and a case, or you can custom make your own. And that one, you don't even have to use your cell phone because you could just enter the text messages into that and it's got a screen. I think that was a color screen too. Sorry, I didn't mean to take away from your problem of the month, but the Meshtastic and Mesh Core, apparently there's some tea or drama or beef or whatever the kids these days say. The Mesh Core has recently had a division where this guy says he was the inventor and these guys say they were the inventors, and this guy had done vibe coding to get his system done, and these guys said, what the hell are you doing using vibe coding on a security encrypted transmission system? And these people own one set of official repositories, and this guy has a official repository on GitHub, and there's drama.
And are these the core developers of the Meshtastic?
Yes, no, Mesh Core.
Oh, Mesh Core. What's What is,
So
what's the difference?
you're asking me a lot of questions. I just read a couple of YouTube articles.
You didn't realize you were gonna be the expert.
I didn't know I was gonna be the local. I've heard you guys talking about Meshtastic and Mesh Core and LoRa and all that kind of stuff. So I was hoping that you guys would know what's going on. Shane, anything?
There's a guy at the TriEmbed meetings, Clint.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I've heard of him.
Meshtastic was the original one. I think it was developed in 2019, 2017. And it uses flood report or flood broadcasting. And so my node just sends out to everybody and it has a hop count. And as you diminish each time you're receiving and retransmitting, you diminish your hop count. Typically, you're only going to get 3 or 4 nodes out. And unfortunately, it just broadcasts and it's not ever looking to get as far as it can. So, which is great if we're all like in the same, like if we're all almost within transmission range of the one device, of the transmitting device, everybody's the message is likely to get to its end user. But if you're hoping to get from Glenn to Richard, no, not Richard, to
Kevin.
Paul, to Dawn, to Pete, then you may or may not make it there. Mesh Core says that's silly. Why would you broadcast every time? And so the first time that you send a message, it broadcasts to everyone. And then it tries to establish a direct link of minimal hops to your final destination. And then once you've gotten that established pathway, it tries to use that pathway and only broadcasts the shortest set of hops to that person.
An ACK packet that includes the whole hop trail.
Yeah, maybe it does. So yeah, there's some kind of a method to keep track of what the path is to get to the
These 6 ACKs, this one shortest.
right. Yeah, and then if a message transmit doesn't work, then it goes back to broadcast. Hey everybody, I want to get a message to Pete. So the Mesh Core has a tendency to be more robust in that regard. Basically, all the reviews are saying, look, Meshtastic is really easy to just get started. I've got a device and I've got a battery and a 3D printed case to put it into. You can be sending messages between 2 devices at local transmit range in 10 to 30 minutes. That if you want to do, and it's more of an ad hoc kind of thing. Originally, I think most of this was set up for people who are doing search and rescue, local hikers, those kinds of things where, hey, we're going to put some kind of a small node together. We're all going to go hiking in the woods. We want to get back to the campsite for dinner at the same time.
Right, again, that's just crazy to me, crazy.
Well, but
I mean, to go hiking in North Carolina, in the mountains, and think that 900 megahertz is gonna help.
It's called natural selection.
well, so
Right, if you want help, get altitude,
so
climb a tree.
but yeah, I mean, local North Carolina isn't the entire world, right? I mean, you can hike out in
Oh,
the
yeah.
valley as
Well,
well.
out
right?
on the
So-
beach at the beach
So,
would be
but
great.
that's the idea is that with the Meshtastic, it's much more likely that you're going to have local success. If you're looking to set up some infrastructure, put devices on the roof with solar panels and have them stay put, and then have people talk to those and be able to send messages in. Hey, I want to send Pete this information, and then Pete's out of town, and then he comes back into town, and he comes back and he looks at the chat room and he says, "Oh, these are all the things that people want to tell me." Because with the Meshtastic, if it doesn't get to him, the message never delivers. Whereas if you set up a chat room, I think it's called in Mesh Core, you can eventually get those messages out as long as they haven't been overwritten in the cache buffer. So, yeah, and
So, and does the gadget you showed, it supports both of those?
yes, you can, yeah.
So we could start with Meshtastic.
Yes, and basically what they said is, why not do both? Put one of these things up on the roof and have a Mesh Core system where you can kind of participate in these things. And then you can also run, because again, they're $30. And you can have Meshtastic for much more localized communications. Like we're all talking about smart homes and that kind of thing. If each one of your nodes, your refrigerator system is reporting to your home assistant, you can put it on one of these things, and you can get a full week with daily use. Or if you put a more robust battery, I mean, this is designed to be handheld with one single 18650. So put 3 or 4 of them on it and put it in your refrigerator, and now you've got something that's going to be able to transmit data back to your home system from the horse barn and from the garage and from the refrigerator in the horse barn and from the all these different places. So you can set up a local Meshtastic unit that's just reporting data.
So at the endpoint, at the node that's like, yes, this message is to that thing. How does the data get out? Is it just a serial port?
No. So mostly the although it does do telemetry, mostly Meshtastic is for text message communication between parties. And it sounds silly, but if we're all using our cell phones and the local cell tower goes down, we're screwed. But this device talks Bluetooth to this device.
Oh, so it's
this is your
Bluetooth to your phone.
Right. So this interface is your text. Everybody knows how to use text messaging, and so they've just echoed the text messaging system in the Meshtastic app on your phone, and then this takes care of backhaul to get you to the person that you're trying to send a message to.
You have to have an account.
No, this is again one of the things that there's no
walled garden.
There's no walled garden. Your entire investment is single time. There's no subscription fees. It's a free account or it's a free app on your phone. It's open source. It's all that kind of stuff. And it's encrypted. It's 128 or 256-bit encryption. And there's, arguments. Oh, well, if I have access to your device and I can just grab your encryption keys. Well, cool. Yes. Okay, fine.
What are you going to get from it?
You need a hobby.
Honey, can you pick up ice cream on the way home?
Right. Ooh, valuable. Right. Strategic.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the nice thing. And there's actually a write-up in here that says that there was a lot of these that were deployed after Hurricane, was it Milton out west, that completely trashed the western end of North Carolina.
Helene?
That was Helene.
Helene, actually, it was both of them. It was Mitchell and then Helene and then Mitchell that kind of just completely smoked it. After the batteries went dead and the fuel tanks for the generators went dead, all of the cell towers were dead. And in not too few cases, the fiber between them got washed away. So yeah, great. Your cell phone still works, but
It's worthless.
it's worthless. You cannot make communications unless it's one of the new iPhones that talks to satellites. And so people were starting to deploy these in Hurricane Milton, and apparently so for again $100 and something or $300 for a real solution, you could put a couple of these on top of a water tower in a county, and you now have a local network that's going to be able to communicate up the holler and down the holler and report data.
It would be a lot of fun to see what the real behavior is, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
How far can you get from your vent pipe?
Right.
And what is your expectation? If you're in a neighborhood like yours, where there's lots of trees and not a whole lot of houses.
I would have no expectations. No, seriously.
So you would think that every house would have to have one of these and it
Well,
still
no.
might not work.
Not every house, but it would have to be,
You might need a mesh of them.
you would need a mesh of them and
What?
and they
It's in the
probably
name,
couldn't get
whole
more
mesh.
than a few houses away. Right? So you could probably reliably get some fraction of the neighborhood and then
So if somebody
So-
with a screen wants to bring up Mesh Core or search for Mesh Core map,
yeah. All right. Do that.
I mean, if it won't go 10 houses away, the chances of doing anything between us is 0, right?
Well, it is-
Yeah, I mean,
so it is a likely
even
link.
if
from my house to his house that would be an interesting challenge.
Does it
'Cause
say
we're
how
like
long the
25
house
miles
can
apart,
be?
right?
So I would expect there to have to be some number of hops.
A
And the
lot.
question is, is it hundreds of hops or is it?
So there's a couple of things to remember. The answer to Shane's question is, I think they've got like a 230-mile successful transmission, which is from this mountaintop to this mountaintop.
Single hop, clear line
Single
sight.
high, clear line of sight. However, there are, and I'm looking at the Mesh Core
That was me.
map right now.
I'm doing a screen share.
There's 185 Mesh Core nodes in the Raleigh-Durham area.
What's the URL that I'm looking?
Meshcore.io.
.co.uk, but,
That's what I got.
Oh, I'm sorry.
well, that one works.
I'm using DuckDuckGo. Yeah, meshcore.io/map.
/map. Hang on.
Meshcore.io/map. That's it. Okay.
Well, we don't need that.
Give it a
Put
minute.
in the zip code.
Well, you
Can't
can
do
either
that?
put in a zip code, or you can just kind of bring the North America in here, in North Carolina.
That's a neat animation. Seen that before.
Drag that section into place. So
Right. See, where are we? We are somewhere like about 8. Where are we? There's Sheffield. I think we're down here, aren't we?
Investment.
There's James. Okay, so we are, yeah, here we are. We're right here.
Yeah.
So you see my mouse pointer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're right there.
So
And there's one,
there's a node right there.
Johnny 5. And over here on the left is downtown Apex.
How many can we reach from here?
Well, it doesn't.
If we can reach those two, they've already set up something,
There's this.
presumably.
I guess looking at the distance between the ones that exist gives you a feeling for how close they need to be.
Yeah, so, I don't see a scale on this map. Let's see, so from,
I mean, that's a mile, right?
there's William Street. All right, so from there down to there is 3 miles. So that's about a mile.
Yeah.
So vaguely, we're here.
Mile away.
And so it's about a mile to either, well, in a mile and something.
Yeah.
to either one of those. So the interesting thing would be, aha!
And then there's that QR code that you can,
Inserted 5 months ago, updated 1 day ago.
I mean, he's
910.52
gotta be talking to somebody.
megahertz.
You've got to be talking to people on this map, right?
Yes,
If he's
what's that one? Is that Johnny 5?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then this other one is over in downtown Apex, updated recently,
See,
updated 4 days ago. It's the 910.525 megahertz.
Do we know what the
yeah, that's the same frequency as Johnny 5.
green versus yellow versus blue versus red are?
It might be updated recently. It might be the update because I'm looking at some
Yeah.
of these other ones.
Okay, the one downtown was
Yeah.
updated 4 days ago and inserted 23 days ago.
And the one Big Fig Wasp in different downtown was not updated, but was inserted 13 days ago. So
Okay, I got a technical question and maybe Kevin might know about that. So this stuff, it's using LoRa, it's the underlying transport is LoRa.
Mhm.
And doesn't LoRa use spread spectrum? So I
Yes, it
think
does.
I think it does. The big question is, so it's relatively wide bandwidth, but really, really low power on any particular frequency. Will any old linear amplifier work, or do you need a lot of bandwidth with your linear amplifier?
I've only ever looked at some pretty simple modules.
Yeah,
So most linears, like if you add filters, then, you know, they've got a range of, you know, the gain falls off outside the filter range, but I'm just wondering about the demands. So the reason I'm saying is, I mean, it would be very straightforward to throw a linear on this thing and.
yeah, I don't have any
Just
idea.
power through.
I'm perfectly happy to use the off-the-shelf kind of things. and
What
say,
kind of connector does it have?
It's got
Is it a
I think
UF?
it's an SMA.
It's an SMA, that's
Yep.
great, okay.
Yeah.
So with an SMA to N connector,
For all practical purposes, it's an ESP32 at this point.
yeah,
But it's got a specific radio on it
Yeah.
that does the things. It actually has a battery connection and a solar connection. It's got another JST over here that I'm not entirely sure what it's for. This one's from Heltech Automation
what's the roof look like?
up here. It's just a flat roof.
So you can walk around on it without getting anybody angry.
Yes, especially because I sort of kind of know how to do roofs, but here I'd be happy to pass it around. You've got two of them here.
And is there anything that you could bolt to connect to?
Yes, there is. I know that because there is a couple of penetrations through the roof for vents. We were running
Is there a pretty stout vent then?
yeah, I mean, yes. Because we've got, previous use of this location was for the screen printing shop. And they had pretty nasty, you know,
Right,
fumes that they
chemicals,
wanted to
yeah.
vent through the roof.
Yeah.
We've actually pushed a PVC pipe up into one of these steel in penetrations for the laser cutter. So we're pushing our laser cutter smoke out into that, well up into it so that it just goes out the top. So I know for a fact that we can, if nothing else, we can attach to one of those.
This is a UF, not SMA.
Okay.
UF, the problem with UFs is, they're not designed to be multi-use.
Heard.
Yeah, connect once.
This one is more designed to be one of the handheld devices.
Yeah, sure.
The one that I've been talking about for stationary, and you wouldn't be putting a linear amplifier on your
SSMA.
mobile. I believe that is an SMA.
Yeah, cool.
Glenn, can you send a link or something to the solar
Yes.
one?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, like I said, I've got these Yagis that have been just sitting and I don't even remember why I bought them.
So you would aim it at this other.
Oh, yeah, we would, I think, well,
Somebody could put a
we
link
would-
in the chat.
oh, it's Apex High School on Laura Duncan.
So
Okay.
this is the antenna that comes with
Yeah,
this device. And yes, I agree with you. That's not ideal to be putting linear amplifiers on, but we
oh, well, it can be done. It's just,
yeah,
the UF is so fragile,
right.
but if the whole board is $30 and
So quick question related to Dawn's. Did anybody get my message to the TriEmbed asking about?
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make sure.
did anybody know anything to reply to you?
Nobody knew anything about it. Okay,
No.
so
I
I'm the
went
local
looked-
expert
I
already.
went and looked it up and I started to write something and I decided, no.
One thing I will say, so I had started looking into it, but I'm not as far along as you are actually, but so as people might recall, I was working on air quality monitor for a high school teacher. And based on the ESP32, and she wanted to monitor air quality in the school because she had some concerns. And so then I made one that was that had Wi-Fi and went to Adafruit and had all these neat graphs. And the school won't allow it to get on their Wi-Fi network because it's not a known thing.
Right.
And so then I made her one temporarily. It's just recording all the SD card, but I told her I would try Meshtastic or the Mesh Core nodes. And so
Oh,
that's actually what I'm starting on.
and
where
is this school?
Well, it was Hillside High School in Durham, but we lost her visa. And so she's gone. And so she left the project with a teacher at Lowe's Grove Middle School. And so these are in Durham. So, but I was wondering if the school was going to allow us to put a node there. But now that this Apex High School has one, there's precedent.
There is precedent.
Oh, I'm
so-
sure this isn't the only school.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. So actually that plan might work. So, yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
And if you go on Reddit or any of the social medias, there's apparently local discords that are for given nets and meshes and so forth and so on. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I had extra time I had spare time at work today, so I was researching.
there are more of these, right? So
What-
we are down here. Oops, we're down here where I'm. There is a little hand.
Yeah, there's
And I had found this one. And that's Johnny 5.
Yeah.
And Apex is right here.
keep in mind that that one's yellow versus the greens.
Oh, that's a good
Yes.
point. Inserted 25 days ago, updated 6 days ago, whatever that means. Same frequency.
It's got two updated.
Inserted updated.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, it says freshness and it's yellow because it's updated a while ago. But then down under inserted, it's updated again 6 days ago. I guess I'll have to look what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either.
What,
So here's another one called Mind Fuzz,
what is a red one? How many days was that updated
13 days ago.
when it was
Not,
first?
oh,
installed?
freshness says I'm not updated.
But then updated.
It's never been
says-
updated.
Except for.
It's only inserted
It was
13
taken-
days
It
ago.
was brought online 13 days ago and it's never been updated.
You
Oh,
Mesh Core
right.
and AI.
Right.
And
Meshcore.io
what's the blue one say?
I know.
/
Manually
that's
added
where they were talking.
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. What's this?
19
SenseCAP.
days ago.
The type is room server.
Right, so that's a subset of Mesh Core. You can set your unit up as a chat room-esque kind of thing. I'm really at the edge of my skill level here, but that's what I was talking about, where you can, send messages. It's kind of like a chat room. You send messages in, they get
So that one's gonna send
rebroadcast. Yeah,
messages,
it's gonna
whereas the
send-
Peters
Right.
just send it along and don't.
Sure, yeah.
A bunch over here too. Oh, but those are, oh, but there's a school over there. Kings Mill, Cary, that sounds like an elementary school. Here's. Okay,
So-
here's 3.
You guys are all of age, and so if you spend money on this project, it's not my fault, all right? I want to put that disclaimer out there right now.
I've fallen way behind on my money spending. I need to do some catch up.
Yeah. I haven't spent much on anything. These a couple of years.
This sounds like it would be fun to play with and,
Yeah.
Well, I'm out in the boonies. I
So-
would never get anywhere near any of them.
well, me too. I mean,
So,
Oh, you have.
yes, but, so put one on your homes, on your house, and maybe you put one on your car. And when you're driving in your vehicle and it finds, and it can.
store and forward.
Store and forward. I think there's store and forward capabilities, right? Like,
I would think that the
Oh, so if I went by somebody, we just update it.
Yeah.
So
Mesh Core.
another room has actually bought a couple because he, with his work, was going to try to, he's something related to meteorology. Apparently, every time a plane takes off, it gathers some amount of weather information until it gets to about 1,000 feet, and then the data is useless again. But it reports it to local systems. And so what they were trying to do was to gather some of that information, but there's lots of noise in the system because though of all the airplane data, or the airplane is mixing up the environment. So what if they put them on ships that are at sea and grabbed environmental information while these ships are just traversing the ocean, and they put one of these devices near the port as they come into port, and it just squirts all the information to the device that's on the, it doesn't even have to be in the port. It can just be, on either side of the
In range, yeah.
right? So of the opening for to get into the bay, and it squirts all the data that it's collected, gathers it there, and then does the thing. But again, the person who was interested in this, I think, got deported or whatever happened. And
A
so
lot of that going
There
around.
is a way, so I don't know anything more than the sentence I'm gonna say, but you can connect these mesh nodes or the devices to they can connect to other types of communication for certain points, so you can relay it, using the internet, for example, and then get back to LoRa / a mesh. It's a bit complicated. It's not straightforward, but so that was more than one.
Is that
sentence,
with
but-
Mesh Core?
So I don't know. One of the
that doesn't
articles
stop me.
one of the articles I was reading a while ago mentioned that, but it just said it's a little complicated, but for instances where you can't just use these meshes, you can use other things if you need to.
The $20 radio network nobody can switch off is basically, there's this one particular website I've gotten a lot of this information out of, ADRELIEN website, of which I'm going to include in this message that I'm starting to collect. But that's one of the things is that, a global movement of hikers, rescue workers, everyday people is quietly stitching together a backup communication network using cheap radio chips. It works in the middle of nowhere, costs less than a round of drinks, and nobody owns it.
There's, well, yeah, that's an exciting element to it.
We should knock down those flock cameras and put these things on.
No
There
kidding.
you go. There's a lot of that going around too.
There is,
People are not happy with flock.
they've got that nice solar cell, and then thing below it, just put your thing in and.
Except you'd be videotaped the whole time that you're doing it.
There is a downside.
I watched Interstellar again over the weekend, and you remember there's a scene in it where he's the guys with the kids, and a reaper comes over, or something like a reaper. Oh, it wasn't a reaper because it was all electric, solar powered with electric motors, and they drive under it, and the guy gets on his laptop with the radios and all that, and taps into it and commands it to land, and then they strip all the parts. So yeah, I mean, recycling flock.
Sure.
No, just for the for the public record, nobody here is suggesting fiction.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just kidding.
we're just bullshitting. Is what we're doing.
He uses his judgment in
This,
editing the.
yeah, it goes without saying that we're too old for that kind of stuff.
Did you read some of the comments on the story where all the flock cameras were cut down in that county, and two from an adjacent county? The comments were, whoever did it, he was fishing with me.
Why? 'Cause he was with me all day.
Yeah, right.
It was just multiple versions. Of
Yeah.
it just kept coming.
That's wild. Yep. So, yeah, I find this pretty intriguing and, in my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, we need antenna switches. You know, I mean, why? Either that or rotators. I could use rotators. Nice.
Meshtastic homepage, Mesh Core homepage. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to mention. Apparently, you got to be careful if you go on to Reddit because the Meshtastic moderator or the moderators of the Meshtastic subreddit have literally auto-modded anything that refers to Mesh Core. And you get deleted.
They treat it like it was a flock camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and I don't think Mesh Core is the same way. But yeah, like people.
You're in the wrong place.
Yeah. Well, no, not even you're in the wrong place. Like people who are on the Meshtastic thing are saying things because people like me are like, what should I do? Meshtastic or Mesh Core? And
Dude,
if you're
said
lucky,
Mesh Core.
that gets through. And if you're even luckier, somebody responds and say, or what should I do in terms of all this mesh radio stuff? And somebody will respond, well, you could use Meshtastic or you could use a different system, which initials are something that somebody would refer to as Minecraft. And, you know, so it gets past the auto moderator. Yeah, it's like ridiculous.
But is it just, is there any reason for it other than people are just?
He was
Getting pissy, humans,
Well,
humans being
humans.
stupid.
Yeah, they were talking about this war going on between.
Well, and
But
that's only
that's
just
within
Mesh
within
Core.
Core.
There's a split within Mesh Core,
Okay.
but the Meshtastic people are like, yeah, we don't need none of that shit because we think that broadcast only is the only way to go. And Meshtastic people are like, or excuse me, Mesh Core people are like, what the hell are you talking about? Why would you want to overwhelm your local broadcast every time you send any message? Wouldn't it make a whole lot more sense to not go to those folks and just go directly as short a hop as you can get to the person that you're looking for?
How are they
UDP
addressed?
versus DC
Right.
all over.
Yep.
How are nodes, does the node have a UUID or something?
I don't know. I have not been able to figure that out. Like, how am I supposed to be able to send a message to Pete? Right? Because it's apparently there is no,
Surely somebody is dispensing UIDs.
There's public keys on that map.
Public keys.
Ah,
And so
I
I
didn't
think
even
you
see
could just say, go to this guy, go to this key.
And the app will
oh, yes, the public
give an
key.
alias for the
That-
whole string.
Yeah.
That looks like it's unique.
Johnny 5.
right. But that's for the node.
Well, it's associated with the node.
Right, that's for the node. But again, this is Mesh Core, not Meshtastic. So if I'm sending text messages among my local search and rescue team, do I want it to go to every single one of them, or do I want to send a message directly to?
Maybe it's the kind of thing where the node has a hash, not a hash, public key. And then everybody else has a public key and there's some piece of software routes the various public keys together.
And if you want
That's how I do it.
well, yeah.
So your hot list is just a list of those keys.
Well, and given,
I don't know.
given the brain power in this room and on this group, we could probably invent our own new standard and we could be the mesh cool people.
And now there's another.
Right.
That's
XKCD,
Yep.
relevant XKCD.
How should we get started? Buy a handful of those? And just see
So-
if we can,
The Adrelian thing said, basic bottom line says, if you're looking to get online, just locally and amongst yourselves, start with a couple of these things. And again, there's multiple different versions of them depending upon what form factor and what flavor you like. And apparently, this one's running the ESP32, which is less good for battery life and more good for IO and data and a few other things. And you can, talk to it with a USB cord. There's an NRF version of the radio that's much better for battery life. but it has other challenges associated with it.
Yeah, I think my sense is there's more
Yeah, and there's
familiarity with ESP32s in the room.
absolutely, yeah,
than
but
the,
there's, and this particular one is from, like I said, Haltac.
Nordic's
This is
got
version
another-
4. There's, several other versions.
Hi-fi crap.
There's, like I said, there's the BlackBerry looking one. It literally has the little trackball in the middle of the, between the screen and the keyboard,
Yeah.
so that you can scroll through.
So,
Lots of different versions.
I mean, one goal might be to,
That's the intent.
Yeah.
see if we can, send messages in the room between you and, so gonna need pairs of them, don't we? Well,
Each
you're
of us only needs
confident.
one.
You're confident, just buy one and you will confidently walk in the room and it'll just work, right? No, it won't.
That's always.
So here's one on the Adrenaline, whatever, website. Meshtastic versus Mesh Core, run both. Here's the honest truth, 2026. So this is very current information. An honest hands-on comparison of Meshtastic and Mesh Core, while Meshtastic remains the turnkey, user-friendly king for casual off-grid communication. Mesh Core's smart routing architecture offers superior performance for serious regional infrastructure. I think is the message that I've sort of been trying to deliver over the past long
So
time now.
maybe we should just start with Mesh Core, bite the bullet.
But yeah,
That Mesh Core is the one that's got the war going.
yes,
Well,
but
I don't think that
We
meant.
can pick a side.
We can what?
We can pick a side.
Okay, well, I was hoping that we could pick, like, yeah, both of you are right. Both of you guys are right.
so, yeah. I think, so
We love you.
I think Mesh Core was developed more recently, and I think the number that I recall is 18 months. And I think it was in this very review or write-up that I saw was, this is an open source project. It's basically like a nonprofit that hasn't had any bylaws governing it for 18 months. So you can see where there's, everybody's got this great idea on how it should go. And if they're not actually all meeting together, and everybody is more or less on the same page, it's easy for, well, this guy decided that he had the idea, and so he's going to register meshcore.io or meshcore.co.uk. And then all these other folks are like, wait a minute, we're using the GitHub repository to distribute firmware. What the hell is this brand new website? And he registered the name and so it just turned into this,
Pissing contest.
everything would be fine except for the people, right?
That's always the case, right?
Right.
What's the LibreOffice versus an OpenOffice thing? Is eventually one of them's gonna bubble up and.
Well, LibreOffice, OpenOffice was the original, but when it got bought out by
Company.
Oracle.
Oracle, right? Then the original people that developed it took the open source code and made LibreOffice out of it.
Right, and OpenOffice still around, and there was some.
It is, and it is technically open source,
Yeah,
but nobody uses it.
I think it's.
Arduino went through a similar thing. The people in Italy
Exactly.
versus the people in America, and they kind of come back together.
Did that settle out?
I think so. And then they got bought by whoever they got bought by.
Qualcomm.
Qualcomm.
Adrian, can you go, or Adrian, Pete, can you go to adrelien.com?
Okay.
Open a new tab.
Oh, shoot, I wanted to park this just a minute.
I would also like to share a show and tell thing that, brushless power tools and more power And I got interested in just the opposite. How small can you make it and how light can you make it and still have it be useful? And I picked these out for prototyping for robotic students. And I actually love them myself because they have torque limits on the drill and the driver. So you can turn it down and not break things and not bend bolts or
You
not.
and your
How do you spell that?
ADRELI.
There's a,
12 volt.
Milwaukee has, it's very
different kind of motor, an LCD motor. No LCD motor. Go back.
Okay, one more
I
time.
suspect there's still
Alpha
oil.
David.
Oh, there's still back.
No,
Alpha, Delta, Romeo, Echo,
yeah, it
Lima.
didn't.
Indigo,
Echo. It should,
Nancy.
no.
Oh,
it was a-
E, and the E after the I.
Instead of the T.
I think it used phase change in the LCD, well, there wasn't.
There you go. And
All
also,
right.
Oh, it's
if you go down
got
to
enough power,
the
but it's
second
not
row-ish.
impressive, so I'll-
there's fantastic devices for every use case. There you go.
I like that feature. Turns the lights on all around.
You already invested in DeWalt M12s.
Actually, these are my first. I
Pete,
had-
while you're at it,
I had some.
grab the URL and dump it in the chat and I'll put it in the.
But I actually picked these out when I was doing the production test system at a house. Because they're going to be putting every unit in and out at the end of the production line and doing 50 units a day. So I wanted the lightest tools for the lowest risk of repeated stressing. And that's how I found these.
I've got a full, not quite a full set, but a growing set of Milwaukee M12, and I have
Okay, I
invested
did that.
Okay,
those over the course here. They have a screwdriver.
This is a nice-
Which is really nice. This is
It's a very nice
good number of RPMs. Instead of just loading up,
That's likely to screw something else.
we've got a clutch. The drill has a clutch in it. And they also have an impact version. But there's a ridiculously large inventory of M12 tools available. I don't know, I'm sure that Milwaukee has a large selection as well. But
This is as far as I look.
You can rotate that battery, that gray band.
yes, that is a DeWalt 12
And that,
volt system.
it keeps you from
M12
too much
12
torque
volt battery,
in
18,
place and
18
ripping
which
the
is
thing
much
apart.
larger.
But in that
Well,
factor.
So, yeah.
It's a little delicate screw or something.
For some reason.
And we have,
Like if it's
I'll be
up
right
or
back,
something,
guys.
because I always end up stripping the screws because
Yeah.
too much torque too soon and
And
I-
that's exactly what that
I
little
know,
ring will
that's-
do.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had students questioning square tubing because they were putting a nut and bolt across it. They were just, oh, I've got my teenage super gaming skills. A two, set the torque limit to 2.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
so you modified these?
No.
Oh, you just bought these?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That one's been used once. I used it for putting, used it for putting
You
a,
set it to 15, you can't hold it. It'll just hurt your hand. There you go.
very cool. Very cool.
so,
Different flavor.
yeah.
I was gonna say, send one that way, send one that way.
9mm or no?
So that one, I only brought one battery out.
Oh.
It looks like a drill.
You gotta pull the battery out of the other one.
Oh, sorry, yes.
The reason I like, well,
With the battery.
I haven't seen what, and that's a screwdriver version versus a drill. So it only has a hex chuck. It's a quick attach.
That's bias. Black & Decker spends more money on testing DeWalt tools than anybody. I could not talk Milwaukee into spending $6,000 for an end-of-the-line tester that would let them tell awesome tools from OK Tools. And DeWalt just, in Towson, Maryland, they've got so much test hardware.
I'll send you a link.
Where are they?
Towson, Maryland.
Milwaukee is actually a privately owned company and has refused to sell out. Whereas DeWalt is owned by Black & Decker, which is owned by yada, da, 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 da. And yeah, their certification is really a thing. And article that I recently read implies that Milwaukee is one of the, I think Bosch is the other one. Although I'm not particularly impressed with Bosch cordless tools.
That
It
is
is,
only Pico at one time.
Makita is the third one that is absolutely privately owned, and they're not going anywhere.
It was 20 years ago that I met with the test engineers at the plant in Milwaukee, at Milwaukee Towson with Black & Decker. And I designed a bunch of test systems for Black & Decker.
The ecosystem of Milwaukee is vast.
I know almost nothing about the actual tools other than DeWalt does the testing. Built a switch qualification test system that they forced their vendor in the Netherlands and one in Switzerland by our tester to pre-qualify switches. Sent them to Black & Decker to be considered for DeWalt power tools. There was a particular switch keys failure mode. Contractors would walk around and carry using their index finger as one of the weight bearing things on the tools, and it would pull it up to just where the tool wasn't running. And that failure mode, some switches would last for 3 years, 5 years that way. There were others that died in 90 days, and it caused warranty repair issues. So they developed a torture test that would find that just almost on point and then tease around it to see how fast the switches would die. And all the ones for the DeWalt tools had to pass that. And that test was, I did the real-time programming for the motion control for the teasing.
What year was that?
Oh, that would be 2004, 2003.
The 2010 merger of Stanley Works and Black & Decker created a company that already owned DeWalt. They went on an acquisition spree that should have built an empire. Instead, it built a bloated holding company drowning in debt and leadership peril. So,
The problem is you get involved with the battery environment and you can't, hard to change.
Which is American ecosystem.
Yeah. But there's I have in my truck right now, a soldering iron, a drill, a driver, and an impact, a Sawzall, all in 1112, and it fits in, and that's only just barely scratching the surface.
Well, at Added Power, they use several different lines in different parts of the plant. So my search was completely agnostic. I wanted the lightest you can buy and the smallest you can buy to open up the range of people who have the body strength to do this for an 8-hour shift to be using this. So that was my only criteria.
So I was using Black & Decker Firestorm, I think. And so that was nickel metal hydride, I think. And so the batteries after a few years died. But I found an adapter that would slide in a lithium 20 volt onto my 18 volt Black & Deckers.
Right.
With the free performance boost.
With a little,
Yeah.
get you an extra 20%.
Turns out the 20 volt isn't actually valid.
It's a class. It's not
Right.
rating.
Right.
It's like
So,
freaking
20
TV sizes.
Yeah, exactly. Or chop back horsepower values. 20 volt, they use the exact same 18650, or in this case, probably 14500 cells in the DeWalt as they do in the Makitas, as they do in the Bosch, as they do in all the other ones. DeWalt says that they're 20 volts because at maximum charge, 5 times 4 volts is 20 volts.
The charge termination voltage is 20,
Is 20.
not the operating voltage.
Right, exactly. Whereas Milwaukee says the vast majority of your runtime is going to be from 19 volts to 17 volts. And so we're going to call it an 18 volt system.
That sharp corner on the, when you start that curve.
Interesting.
Smells like marketing.
Yeah. Is that what I smell?
Did you get the photo I texted you?
Today, tonight?
Yes, during the meeting.
Oh, no.
No, he was paying attention.
I don't look at my phone.
Okay, class.
Well, I was just gonna pass it around
No.
if anyone else Well, then it said it went to an email.
Oh,
That-
email.
That's what I sent. This is hanging at the house, and every time I see it for a second, I think it's you.
That looks like me.
It does. I keep thinking the same thing. Why is Paul having dinner with my family in Rome?
I do.
Glenn.
Yes.
This guy here, you mean? Yeah, it does look like.
Isn't that funny? Oh, sorry. It should have been.
That was in Rome?
It's easier to see.
Oh, yeah, yes, it was.
Right outside of whatever that big building is with the hole in it.
The Parthenon?
There you go, that one.
Hey, look at me with a name.
Parthenon. Yeah, I was there. At a
When it was built?
restaurant. If you're looking at it, the restaurant was to the right.
Our thing was eat on the street, and that's it. That's the only, eat on the street. Everything was great. Food was
You might go-
good. Wine was cheap.
Already started.
It just occurred to me that
Uh,
of the,
Recording.
no, no, of the tools.
it looks, they look the front. I thought it was-
Get a chance.
There's lithium ion.
Did you get a
It looks
chance
like
to see?
the size of
Those,
Oh.
the ones in here are absolutely 100% 18650s, which
Yeah.
is
That's what they look like.
this.
The other one looks.
Three of those in that. That one has, I think, 14,500s.
And
Rich has given us his approval.
but those are the DeWalt 601
Sorry,
and
Richard.
701.
Can you get this part, I mean, what's through the
Oh, good heavens. That's not
Yes,
the
you
lightest
can.
one you
So-
can find.
This is an ongoing thing in the tool.
That one's heavy?
Yeah, it doesn't even have the battery in it.
Well,
Wow.
also
Got a
the batteries. are
serious
here.
motor.
Oh, sorry,
And for the record, the reason I own these and the reason the Forge owns these is because I found them on clearance for $50 a piece. That's because they're last year's version and they are not brushless. So if you want to spend actual money, you can get the brushless versions.
I'm also somewhat through there. I got the drill, just the drill, no battery pack off of Amazon for $65. And I think I got the driver at, it was like 150 maybe, loads, which included the charger, the battery pack, the carry case. And the both brushless.
Generating ozone.
That's the.
So- I'm gonna put on my shop steward hat and I'm gonna yell at Dawn and Pete. Can you please put those on their, or Dawn and Paul,
Sideways.
excuse me, put those on their sides. And this is what I tell our students every time.
Wait, I'm
If,
actually typing into the chat the numbers and that we were just showing them.
okay,
to the
fair enough.
camera.
When we
Okay,
put,
but we can do it on their
when-
side.
yeah, when we put these down
Yeah,
like this, the table falls and then it falls directly onto somebody's
Right,
foot.
right.
Probably like that, and almost certainly with just a drill bit in it, which means that you lose your toe and a drill bit. So we have to go buy new drill bits, and that's just horrible.
Occasionally that might be cell phone or anything ready to check.
Somebody's gotta buy a new toe.
Or
also.
a small steel tip.
or
Yeah.
finished surface.
Or finished surface, yeah.
Look at that up.
And if you get hurt, I actually have to do paperwork as well, which means that I'm really gonna be angry.
To get those at Atom Power because they could not use 12 volt.
Hmm.
Everything was 20 volt, and it costs the same thing as the higher power, larger torque values, 20 volt ones. They're heavier. That's not what I'm wanting. I'm wanting the lightest we can get for repetitive use.
I mean, I can see a logistics argument, but
We have
Yeah,
mystery.
you're right. I mean, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
different use case.
Can't help you with that. So this one here is actually called a screwdriver instead of a drill.
Speaker on your lap.
And it has two features that are going for it. Number one, the maximum RPMs on it is 500, I believe, although it's covered with stickers to keep our students from doing silly things. And it also doesn't have a clutch lockout. It only goes from 1 to, no, I guess it does have a drill mode. But it's got a much more sensitive clutch to it. the technicians that I work with at work are allowed to use these to sink stainless steel screws into stainless steel plates. They're not allowed to use anything else except for this. Because it doesn't run quite fast enough to gall a stainless
Yeah.
screw, and it also
We found-
touches out.
Oh, good.
Gay process.
Yeah.
What's your bucket chain?
Oh,
You can still hear us, Richard?
bucket is on the list.
Yeah. 'cause
The next is
should be-
a new favorite meter thing.
Damn it, Shane! How many meters are you gonna make me buy?
This one is much cheaper than the other ones. This is actually a milliometer that works with measuring contact resistance. You want to say, test all of your 120 amp circuit breakers and find which ones have the lowest impedance. So likely highest trip current, $45 does the trick. Use it measuring batteries. I have a battery heating at 140 degrees at the house in a dehydrator today. The battery was delivered this morning. Energizer robot battery. I'm preparing slides for a talk in San Jose on the 22nd. So that's what all this is for.
But it's not for measuring internal resistance of batteries.
Yes, you clip it straight to the battery and it tells you battery voltage and resistance.
Oh, so I thought that when you said that it was measuring contact resistance.
It also will, you clip it across the contacts of a circuit.
Ah.
There's both. I don't know how it does both, but it does. So it's cool. I don't have to understand it. It uses differential 4-wire sensing.
Okay.
I was
like
just
that it
gonna
has-
ask if it's 4-wire.
It's 4-wire, and I like that it has the screw-on connection, so you can
That is
add
nice.
an SB150 connector to go to the battery.
Will it do a AAA?
Yes, it's the big thing that it's
Oh,
actually used for. is-
I have 2 AAAs in there in my mouse. It's behaving.
This doesn't look test, well, it's kind of look test because it knows what you need.
Here's a
Well, that's easy to
here's a
double.
AA.
And you can you can also get battery holders that screw into this that you actually just mount the battery.
It's brand new fresh. So they should be good, but the mouse is doing strange.
Put them together there.
Where's this?
It says 1.67 and, oh, that's. 78 milliohms.
Did you get?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought maybe that.
Anybody
Shane
have a
and I were
known good
the
one?
only ones who did.
135-ish? Yeah, that's not consistent. And what my understanding is what it's doing is applying an AC waveform and measuring the conductance. And
Try this one. And see if
Where the 4 wires?
one
it's
on
one,
each.
2.
On each. Because I've tried it with an SB150, and if one of those is on the insulation and only one of them, it won't give you a reading.
Oh,
Right, so
interesting. So,
what you're.
Huh?
What you're supposed to be doing though, I mean, is
Yeah, I'm supposed to be making contact
Right,
like that.
like
and-
that, right?
And, but they sell battery holders. You can
Right,
snap it into that
exactly,
will
so
do
you
that.
can do that.
So if we had a teenager here with the manual dexterity to do this,
So basically
So
with
this one doesn't
4-wire
seem as-
resistance
no.
measurement, you can measure really low resistances precisely.
yeah,
Because it cancels out the leads.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. I just didn't, I saw the little clip you do on the end and I
Okay.
thought,
Yeah, no,
I
it's-
that looks like
apologize.
just one.
Yeah, sorry.
very, very neat.
Of course you know, yeah.
Yeah, you can see there where right there, you can see where the wire crosses over to the.
Oh,
other terminal.
that's interesting. Yeah. That's thinking right there.
We have a
Can I-
big battery with no terminals.
Put the
Okay.
info in the chat,
Of course, they
or somebody could.
Right.
Is FNiRSi well known or are they?
I think that's it. That's the model number.
Well, I'm just curious if is that a Chinese brand or?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Anybody?
I found it when I was searching for that model number. And I was afraid it was just for characterizing batteries. I'd actually had it for some time before I actually tried to measure impedance of,
Hold up to the camera.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Thank you.
I don't know if I can.
Meters, never sure of the voltage.
I don't know what you mean.
Man with 2 clocks.
But what you need is a version with SB50 and a version without. Yes. Same meters. I would compare them. Also 4-wire. Top Don AT100.
No, you're fine. Can you read under the QR code there? Because that is what those letters are supposed to do.
Yes. Because I've added extension cables to it and.
So I can't read what those characters are, but.
I
cut those off and here
And
and make that.
Oh,
But you can see also theirs.
got it. Okay.
So that says 178 cold cranking amps. That is not a bad battery.
So it can figure out the full crank.
Yes. It calculates inductance and then does the mapping and but Top Don, they just make automotive.
But it doesn't actually pull 170 amps.
It doesn't do Ohm's law load testing. It does conductance testing. When I put the oscilloscope on it, you can see the 1 kilohertz little AC waveforms at like 100 millivolts, 200
It's only
millivolts.
82% charged, 100% health.
Yes.
Internal resistance
That's not too bad.
15.7.
This one said 180 cold cranking amps. Yours said 178. So
That's within health.
it's in 5%. So.
Does it know what battery chemistry it's looking into?
Didn't you enter that data? Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah. It probably does know lead acid, absorbed glass mat, flat plate.
But it figures it out. You don't have to tell
No,
it.
so you go in here and you hit enter, and then it says,
I have to do it 5 times.
it says battery test, and you can either do a cranking test or a charging test or blah, blah, blah. We're gonna do a battery test. You're gonna tell it it's an AGM flat plate,
Okay,
So
there.
you tell it what kind
and
of
then you're
battery
gonna
it
do a
is.
CCA test. You're gonna tell it we're testing it for 170 amps, which is what my tutor has told me. It should be
And
tested
then
at
it
for this
varies.
type of battery. And then it goes off and says that. But yeah,
Applying
once you press the enter button 5 times in a row for 30-11 different batteries, you pretty much hit the thing and wait for it to say testing.
And one of the challenges with the Top Dons is because they're not doing Ohm's law testing, they're doing the conductance AC waveform based testing. They do not do well when the batteries have surface charge on them when they
Yeah.
just come off of the chargers.
Right,
They
which is
tell
why
you to turn on the headlights.
Yes, which is why I specifically grabbed 2 batteries that were not right on.
So we can
So
plug this one up into that one. That's
Why is that though? Why does it have a problem?
it skews the results more because if you're using something like a battery gate, it actually pulls a short 18 amp pulse and measures the volts during the pulse. So it pulls the effect of the surface charge off during that test, where these don't drain enough of the surface charge off, so it looks like the voltage is higher. But
you
these
do
actually
battery
do a
tests?
lot more accurate testing.
AGM
Once
flat
the
plate,
charge
and that's what
level
this is.
drops below,
This particular battery is an absorbed glass mat flat.
90%, 80%, they're much more.
Okay.
clear than the-
I'm gonna scroll down just to see what else is
Those
got
are
available.
actually Only
Oh,
at the
it's
most
5.
accurate when they just came off the charger
So
maximum.
they are.
So these can give you valid results
And then
of
it's
how
gonna test the
much
cold cranking
usable
amps, and it's gonna ask you
power
what cold
in-
cranking amps you want us to
how much
test it
power
at.
the battery can
Set
deliver
what-
at
Right,
less
and
than
this-
full state of charge.
Again, Shane has told me that these are rated for 170 amps, so that's what we test it for. When I put it on my truck and tested the truck, then I put it in for 500 or whatever it's supposed to be at.
And you can do the same with it.
Tell me, what's it tell us that the internal resistance is there? 13.82. Now, this was tested previously and its internal resistance was 11.76. And
Huh.
which is not unreasonable because this test
Interesting.
was done 2 years ago, I think.
And we'll see what,
So effectively, you're telling it, this is what I think the cold cranking amp should be.
and this says 12.94 milliohms, and I think the spec is 13 milliohms.
And these were tested on 7/8/2024. And that's what I came up with. It's an internal.
Where you guys are in the top 5% of FCTs in the world.
That's us.
I think this kind of thing, testing batteries. and seeing how well they're
We
doing.
don't do anything with it.
Oh, I don't know.
Your head of Citrus Circle. They're one of my, not to be named, but these are the performance parameters of of a team that was on Einstein's, and they did not switch their batteries.
Wow, what's
And they
interesting.
had brownouts. on
So,
on
yeah.
the sides.
I can tell the students which ones are the good batteries, but they don't keep track of them. So,
Students are the worst.
Well, it's just, they're teenagers and it's
Yeah,
like, well, that's, you
they're
know.
teenagers.
Well, so that's the thing is that it's not important to them until it is, and they don't know when it's important
It's a
until
fire.
they realize, until they discover it for themselves.
Mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
What do you use those batteries for?
Robots.
Oh,
That's,
robots.
that's why we're here. That's why,
I would suggest testing this one again sometime. I get 95 cold cranking amps.
yes. Well, again, they've all been gone through and I have data for many of them.
Is that a lead acid?
Yes,
Yeah.
absorbed glass mat, sealed lead acid. That says 100%, 10.7 something. I guess that's amp hours. Oh, that's nice.
So,
14 amp hours.
Glenn, would you look at this? Is this what you ordered?
Yes, I ordered that exact
The
one.
V4?
Yes, the V4 standard width display.
Yeah.
No headers soldered on, because I can solder, thank you
It's got
very
a
much.
good-
I don't need you guys to solder pins on for an extra $10.
Well, I'll do it.
Special bucket actually has a
It's got a
gauge on the
good
bottom.
low noise.
It does not have the holes yet for the vents. This is an
Yeah,
adjustable
and
vent.
yeah, the
I intend to automate
SX1262
it
is the
using
recommended
the,
radio if you're going with
Neanderthal
the
shape memory
ESP32 version.
alloy.
Yeah.
So that
The
when it's
NRF
hot, the
version
vent opens to let
is
it vent
the
follow.
Lower
This is the
battery
dehydrating 3D printer filament.
demand,
So when it gets
radio.
hot, it opens
Okay.
it.
but I don't think that
moisture out, and when
Caltech
it-
sells
when it ends
that
its
version.
drying cycle,
But if you go
it
to that
closes to
Adrian-
seal it off to reduce the amount of air
Adrian
that flows back in.
website, it'll show you
This
several
is
other
designed,
options
not mine, it's printed it.
of the
Um,
different
to fit on the rim
devices.
of a food dehydrator, $30 food dehydrator from Amazon, and the bucket slides on nicely. You can do
That's way better than what I did.
5 or 6 spools of filament at one time. So the Gear Cat's got mine, and so I'm making a second one. So, and this is just the actual cheap humidity gauges. The humidity gauge snapped into a hole that I made with a Forstner bit is what's holding that 3D printed.
Okay.
So many
So-
cool doodads.
So if I want to check golf cart batteries,
The thing that I've learned with battery testing, it doesn't matter which tester, which method of testing you used, as long as you use the same one on all of them, the relative comparisons will be valid. And the most important thing to me is ranking them by performance. So we know
Right.
best battery, second best battery, so that you can rank them strategically going into the robot games. But I find that the easiest way to look at battery impedance is probably this, because if you notice these you have to do a lot of button pushing, and then it says testing, and you have to wait for the test to finish before you get results. This, as soon as you clip it on, you start getting data, and it stabilizes for the so if you were testing batteries, I would go with these. You can also make your own cables to go to whatever connector you're connecting them to, and
if
it's
they're
like,
all hooked up,
that would give you a total pack impedance, which
if I do each battery independently, but they're hooked up to,
you can still get a valid reading. I would try and see, and then try disconnecting one and see how much your reading changes. Because as soon as you go to whatever connector you're using for your measurements, you lose the benefits of your 4-wire, but it gives you a more holistic view of the impedance from that point all the way back through all of your wiring and connectors back to the battery bank. And if you could test those feeds individually, you might figure out where you actually have a under torque connection somewhere in your system. The other thing I would recommend is after you've charged it and run it under some load, use one of the IR cameras from Home Depot or Lowe's and scan it and look for a battery that has hotspots, which can be
I
a
just
loose
want to.
connection or even
Okay.
hotspots internal to the battery can mean
So,
that there's been some sort
open
of
another
force,
website.
the
And
battery got
there's,
dry,
I've got that
cold,
AgriLink
and there's
somewhere.
a less than optimum connection inside the battery.
I'll bet it's,
I have no idea. if you can, it's a product flaw.
There it is. Yeah,
So if you scroll up the list,
this is the best for everything. List,
right,
best,
so
scroll.
scroll through this page. And so, yeah, this is the one that he really likes, because it's kind of a Lego brick kind of thing, that you can kind of apply things. And something that Dawn was mentioning earlier about environmental testing. Some of these devices have the ability to include environmental test data, either not only just temperature, humidity, and pressure, but other environmental quality.
Yeah,
So that's that one.
that's pretty nice. So I just got two of
The same ones that I
the
have.
same ones that he's got.
The little one?
Yeah, the little ones.
HR.
And between those, we should be able to have some fun next time.
So there's the best all-around handheld.
Oh, yeah.
1885 from AliExpress, although it's also $36 from AliExpress.
And then,
For these guys?
oh yeah,
No,
I got the Heltec
or
V4s.
just
from
there's
Amazon.
this Ripple that's
different
the
from
Blueberry.
this one.
Right,
Yeah,
Blueberry.
BlackBerry.
I like this has a connector on it and you can hook different.
Yeah, that's handy.
Yeah, that's useful.
I keep buying these because Shane says, "Oh, this is the best one," and now he's giving me a third one. So I have an extra one if you'd like to take home and test your golf cart battery.
Okay.
It lives in my truck because
If it makes you feel any better, I've got like 4 more.
I just want to be like Shane.
I have 2 printing that use the thermal printer tape that will print. See,
Oh,
a Top Don and the other brand, and I don't have.
no, I have a Sharpie marker that I can print on.
Here's the Sharpie marker. If you will just print the CCA number on a piece of painter's tape on the battery, it's something about the gamification of it. The kids recognize a bigger number is better, and suddenly they care.
I hadn't thought about
Interesting.
that. I was using percent health, but I like
The bigger number.
CCA number.
Bigger's better. I want the bigger.
Let's go.
What's the biggest battery we got? And that was a style choice to put the very last layer, the first layers in a different color. That was just how much was left on that.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, I'll give you a style choice.
One of my favorite things with the bamboo AMSs is I will put a spool. I don't care how much is left on it. I will tell it the same material.
It uses
same
all of
color,
it.
It uses it all and then switch on to the next one. Yeah,
I've got all these partial rolls with
painful.
I've got a spool that is literally called spare scraps, and one of these days I'm gonna figure out how to splice them together because I don't care what the damn color is.
Go on Amazon. You get the splicers. There's a little splicer kit. It's got this little thing.
Yeah, for $30.
How much joy would it bring you to get rid of all those?
I got a soldering iron and an X-Acto knife that I can heat up.
With bringing pizza, it sounds like. I mean, and kudos on your the bathroom light switch upgrade.
It only just happened because we had maker camp here last week. I was trying desperately to find a student. I kept offering. Anybody want to cheat certain death near electricity with me? I'll be happy. Nobody took me up.
Anyone want the food? That's the deal.
No, it's not. I'm a mentor. My job is to get students excited.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Have you ever seen an adult electric?
Somebody's got a real charge out of it.
just a quick broadside here, announcement. You guys remember,
Aiden, what's his name? The person that you're about to talk to, or I think that you're about to talk about.
I think his name was Hide.
Okay.
He's from Japan.
Okay.
Became
Different.
a sushi chef in Florida. That was my previous kid.
Mentee.
Yeah, mentee. Anyway, so Haven Harris, is up in, Aberdeen Proving Grounds, Maryland. And, he's got a job that fits him, and he's happy. He's learning how to use FPGAs. He walked in the door, and when they found out that he could solder, it was like, oh, you can solder. Oh, here. Solder this. But they're doing some kind of custom stuff, and it's some sort. But he's really thriving. He got out from under this horrible job at NC State and made a smooth transition out of that.
Good.
And he just needs to come and get his cat.
Congratulations on having a new cat.
Well, we have 5.
That's why I said new cat.
Yeah, only 2 are ours.
I'll just point out, it's past 9. We can keep the recording going.
Right.
Or,
We don't know how to stop it.
well, allegedly, it's the red button down.
Just push the red button.
All right.
If you're not,
Let's ask our remote.
Carl's gonna edit it down to 78 minutes.
Let's ask our remote attendee if he has anything he'd like to add.
Yes, Richard, do you have anything?
No, I'm fine. Been
you're muted, but are you ready for the meeting to be over?
well,
We can't hear you, Richard.
okay.
No, I think you're muted, Richard.
No,
We
I'm
can't
not.
hear you when you're
muted.
talking.
We can't hear you.
You can't hear me now.
Is that because you turned your speaker on?
Our lip reading is not up to.
No, because it should be coming through the,
But that's your speaker.
Yeah.
Turn your speaker back
Is
on.
his money?
Have
Oh,
the authority.
is that what?
So
it
we
was?
turned the speaker, turned that speaker off. So we
all right, try again, Richard, sorry.
Okay, testing. Okay, cool.
You've been trying to talk for an hour.
Yeah. Couldn't get a word in edgewise.
Sorry.
Quote coming from the room behind you.
Sorry. There was some really strange squeaking noises coming out of the speaker, and that's why we muted it, not thinking what a
So the squeaking noises for you.
Well,
No,
you got
it's
some
not
trained
creepy.
mice or something, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So how do you turn it off?
Well, it says there's supposedly a red
Yeah,
dot
this red
saying
button at the top
stop
of the square.
at the bottom of the toolbar
The red
when
button at the
you are
lower right.
recording.
That's
No.
setting up.
No, I think only people who are recording.
No, there isn't.
Okay.
There is none.
There's nothing
Okay,
here.
well,
All right.
you're
So
predicting AI.
what if I go
Are there
to,
any teenagers in the building?
No, not currently. Usually.
but, okay,